Tied down
No.
13, and you.
We knew the score in the third. So before I went to sleep last night, I saw 78-70 Knicks, and then I turned it off and I went to bed. And so this morning I had no idea of the score, and I kept, the highlights kept moving on, and it was like a 10-point game with 6 minutes left. So I thought for sure it was over. But it was a fun highlights to watch, not knowing the outcome.
Yeah, I was checking on my phone and I was like, yeah, it's over for sure. And then I refreshed one more time and I saw it was in overtime. We were up. I was like, all right, this is looking good.
Yeah, yeah, fun game.
Um,
We would have
yeah,
lost
very.
that game 10, 20 out of 20 times.
Any other year, we would have lost that game.
Yeah, totally.
All right,
Um,
cool.
let's jump
So,
in.
so let's jump in. Today, we're talking about how to increase revenue per guest without raising prices. So, things that operators could do that will help guests spend more money at the venue, whether that's before they come in or while they're there. Kind of touching on some of those
Yeah.
little tricks and tips for maximizing revenue per guest without making it seem like you've raised your prices.
Okay. I like the topic. Lots of ideas
Yeah,
brewing.
this is your wheelhouse. So yeah, I think a good place to start obviously is something that we really specialize in, which is packages and bundling. So putting a bunch of activities together, or whether it's food and activity together, kind of putting those all in one bundle, where maybe you're giving a slight discount on the specific items individually, but when it all gets put together, you're able to sell a lot more things, so that guests are spending a lot more per person.
Yeah.
So maybe we could
I
jump in
think,
on packages a little bit.
yeah, I think the key is having separation between your different offerings. So you always want to seem affordable. You don't want to seem cheap and you don't want to seem gougy. So I think it's important to have an anchor item or anchor activity or package that is just a reasonable price that people can anchor to, right? Whether that's hourly bowling or hourly darts or whatever that might be, is like you have your little anchor activity and it's a reasonable price. And you don't have to increase that price. So when we talk about, how can you get more revenue per guest without increasing that price, you can kind of keep that price pretty static and not have to increase it too much. What you can do around that is build bundles and packages that might include that activity, it might include another activity, or it might include some food and beverage credits and things like that. And that's how you can start to get the spend per guest up without making it look like you're raising prices. So I think that's super important. Kind of separating the offerings, having your core offering be anchored to a price that's reasonable and that guests can understand, and then building on top of that with various different packages that might be a higher price.
Yeah, so just to give a little example of that would be like a bowling alley that then bundles bowling with pizza and maybe some arcade gameplay. And so that way when somebody's coming in, they're not just playing for an hour on the lanes and going home. They're staying there, they're having some food, maybe they're ordering some drinks with their food. Then they're shifting from one section of the venue to the arcade where they're able to spend a little bit more money there. So you're getting a guest to move around the venue and spend money throughout the whole venue as opposed to just being in one specific place by bundling different things together.
Absolutely. And the benefit's twofold. I mean, one side is you're just selling it for a higher price if it includes food and beverage and things like that, or another activity. And then the second benefit is that they're going to stay longer, which means they may actually spend more while they're there longer. They might get an extra drink at the bar, and they might add some more food. So you're getting two times the benefit by creating some sort of a bundle that is a higher price to begin with and keeps them in the venue for longer.
Yeah, for sure. And I think having a diverse type of offering when it comes to packages is important. So obviously, you have people who want to come there for a specific use case, whether that's a birthday party or a corporate outing, or maybe it's a theme night where they could play something unique. So giving the guests different options there will be able to allow them to really find what they're looking for specifically and book those experiences instead of just booking a experience for just a single activity.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
So I mean, were there any other packages types that you think like I know at the baseline, I would recommend a venue to always have some form of birthday party and some form of corporate package. Anything else that pops to mind when it comes to creating a package offering that you think venues should offer?
I think that that line of creating packages is correct. So birthdays and corporates, but maybe be more specific based on some target audience. Maybe have, if you have older people, then maybe bachelor or bachelorette types of parties. So point being is try and make specific packages based on the demographic that shows up. And they can be the same packages, but you can just speak to that audience better by showing that you understand what they might be looking for. So yeah, create as many as you need and tailor each one to a specific audience that might be visiting.
Yeah, and then kind of on that same pathway is have some upsells, right? So if somebody is coming and booking a package, maybe you can add, for example, it's a birthday party, a bowling pin that they can take, the birthday kid could take
Yeah.
home, or a bottle of champagne if it's an adult party where, when they come to the venue and they're celebrating their birthday, you guys could bring out a bottle of champagne to the table. And it just adds that level of exclusivity, a little bit of extra perk where they feel like they're getting something special. And a lot of the times, people are happy to spend that extra money because it is a special occasion they're trying to celebrate. And so the little perks you could give them right off the bat really allow them to spend more money really easily.
Yeah, and a creative upsell I saw recently from Atomic Golf was they offer you to write your group name or somebody's name in the lights out in the field. So it doesn't really cost them anything either. It's all margin, and you can kind of get a shout out.
Yeah,
So you can do this in bowling alleys. You can put, special billboard or some or signage somewhere and shout somebody out and charge extra for it.
yeah, I think Las Vegas Mini Grand Prix allows you to put your name on the sign along the freeway as well. So when you're driving by, it says like "Happy Birthday, Alex" or whatever it is along the freeway. So those are just cool little creative ways where even before somebody walks into your venue, they're able to purchase those things and spend more money there.
Totally. Cool. What else we got?
Yeah, just kind of expanding on that a little bit more, I was just going to touch on VIP offerings. So I know that when people go to a venue, you always have a wide range of people attending these venues, right? Some people are happy just kind of having the general experience, but think of ways where maybe some guests could come in there and have a more exclusive experience. So whether it's a VIP golf bay or a VIP bowling lane, maybe those lanes or bays have more plush furniture and a little bit faster service, slight perks that people would be willing to pay for if they are celebrating something special. Will just be able to trickle in a little bit extra revenue per guest as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't really have the furniture or the hardware that's differentiated in a VIP way, other things that you could do is maybe have a package that you can book quicker or you can book it the same day and it's like a rush service and you allow them to book it at a premium because your team has to make things happen a bit faster. So look for ways like that where if somebody does want to pay more, they can for a premium service.
Sure, that's actually a good segue into the next kind of area that I think that venues could use to expand revenue per guest, and that's through memberships and loyalty programs, right?
Yeah.
So what you just said, maybe your members are able to book during certain times that regular guests aren't able to book, or they're able to get exclusive perks when they book, or lessons with an instructor when they book. Little advantages there that they can take that they could use to really make their experience feel special,
Yeah,
and
totally.
it also just gets guests to show up more often. So the goal is to have guests show up as much as possible. And so the more times a guest shows up, obviously they're spending more and more per guest.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So the topic is how do you increase the revenue without raising prices, and membership falls right into that. Why? Because it's a totally different revenue stream, and you're not raising your prices. You're just offering a different service, which is the memberships, and you're charging for that. So this is really like 100% part of how you can generate more revenue per guest. And again, the benefit here is twofold. One, you're getting revenue for the actual membership plan that's being sold. And then two, like you just mentioned, people are coming in more because they're members. And so they're going to be just spending more overall. And what haven't you done? You haven't raised any of your prices. In fact, maybe you've lowered them a little for your members. So
For
I
sure.
would say memberships is a really, really important way to drive more revenue from the customers and guests that you already have without raising prices.
Have you seen any cool ways that some of our customers are using memberships?
Yeah, I'm seeing a couple of things. I'm seeing some free play during times that might not be so busy. So here's an example where a venue might know that they're not going to be busy on a Tuesday afternoon and they allow their members to come in and play for free during a couple of hours. They'll spend money on food and beverage and other things, and so it's a win-win for everybody. Others I'm seeing is allowing members to book sooner than the general public, and this is really good if you're a popular or busy venue that typically sells out, and so your members want to make sure that they're able to get the time slot that they want. They might be incentivized to get a membership plan so they can book a week sooner than the general public and lock in the time that they want.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really awesome.
Yeah, and then besides that, a couple other things I'm seeing, just having maybe 1 to 3 different plans. So, sort of like you touched on the VIP experience, maybe just have a general membership plan and a more premium membership plan that costs more. So give people the option. If they want to spend more for a plan that gives more benefits and perks, then put it out there. And then as far as timelines, I've seen success in annual membership plans and I've seen success in monthly plans. So kind of depending on your service, maybe try and figure out which one you think is better. If you're going to give a lot of perks up front that you can't take back, then maybe the annual is better because you can charge up front. And if it's just going to be kind of recurring discounts, then a lot of times the monthly will work.
Cool. So we chatted a little bit about bundling packages together. We chatted about membership perks, and
So
yeah, let's talk about food and bev a little bit. Touched on it a little bit last week, but I think that's obviously a low-hanging fruit for venues to be able to capitalize on revenue per guest. So um, I think that when venues are able to really elevate their food experience, then guests will learn about that and come in sometimes even for the food instead of just the activity, right? So if you have a good offering as far as your food, then some people might just pop in for dinner. Some people might just pop in for lunch. When otherwise, if you have a really bad food program, I think guests will not think to stop there and eat. They'll just play and leave and go somewhere else to eat. So you want to be able to capture that where if someone's coming in and playing, they're also staying and having a bite, having a drink, and hanging out instead of thinking, all right, we just played. Now where should we go for dinner?
yeah, get a steak on the menu.
I mean, a solid steak, I'll stay there for a couple hours and
Yeah, it
yeah,
doesn't have to be the most premium steak. Just get a steak on the menu. People will come in.
I'm not mad at that. Yeah, I think just making the food experience good, no matter what group you're catering to. That way, when somebody comes in and they see that you guys have a good offering, they're willing to stay there a little longer and just hang out, have a bite, maybe move on to another activity in your venue after they eat.
Yeah.
So you just want people to kind of guide themselves through your venue in an easy way and just hang out as long as possible.
Yeah, and on the beverage side, we're gonna have some clients and venues that have maybe more premium cocktail programs. In those cases, yeah, obviously you want to put energy into the drinks that you make. We might have some venues that don't really have a bar or cocktail program. In those cases, I would say make sure your offering is up to date. There's tons of new brands that come out every week, it seems, and so make sure that you're staying on trend with some of the new CPG brands that are coming out, some of the new canned drinks, things like that, because you can leverage and piggyback off some of the marketing that these new brands do. They want to be seen and known, and having some of these new items that are coming out is beneficial
100%.
for you guys as well.
And on that note, work on the operations to make things work fast, right? You don't want to be bowling and then have to wait in a long line to get a drink. So the better the ops, the more easy it is for guests to spend money in your venue. So if you want to order food, maybe you have a tableside waitress that could come by and take food, or maybe you have automated kiosks that serve drinks, or leverage a beer wall that could pour beers quickly. Think creatively about how you can serve guests as fast as possible, but still keep the quality, so that when guests come in, they're being served right away. They could get their drink, go back to their playing station, and keep the fun flowing.
Totally. Yeah. Again, falls under how do you increase the revenue without raising prices? Make it easy for people to order more and you'll make more money.
Yeah, the less friction in venue, the easier it is for guests to move around, the easier it is for them to spend money quickly. I think this is a good opportunity to maybe shout out one of our partners, GoTab, who makes it really easy to spend money throughout the venue. Maybe you could chat about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're like a mobile first point of sale. And one thing that they're really good at is enabling order stations across the venue through QR. So you can be anywhere in the space and then you can kind of scan the code and then place an order and then the system knows where you are so it can bring it to you directly where you are. So wherever you are, you can order, from the food menu, the beverage menu, and then a server will know exactly the spot that you're at and they'll be able to bring it over. So it does exactly that, reduces the friction, makes it faster to order. And then you can order from anywhere in the venue, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, once that tab is open, it's so much easier to go around and spend money than each time take out the credit card, go through the transaction process, add a tip, all those things. One tab makes it super easy.
100%. Yeah, that's a great place to look into as well for driving more revenue. What else we got?
Um, so I think one other way for venues to increase revenue per guest would be through selling merch. Like I said, a lot of people coming in to these venues maybe are coming for the first time, maybe they're from out of town, maybe they're celebrating something special. So to be able to go home with a little memento that they could take from the venue, um, I think is just an easy way for them to grab something for the go.
Yeah, 100%. I did merch in a past life. So I used to be in the merch business. And I'll just say one caveat. Make sure the merch is cool. It doesn't have to be crazy, but like, don't be lazy with the merch. Sometimes you see some merch that is just lame and no one's going to buy it. It's just going to sit on the shelf and you spend all this money making the merch. So spend a little bit of money on a designer or, work with the team to make something cool. And then the merch will sell if it looks good.
Yeah, just ask somebody who's like 17 years old right now what's trending, and it's going to be very different than what me and you think.
Yeah, totally. People will buy it if it looks cool, it looks interesting, and it's a little bit on trend, rather than boring and just slap a logo on a t-shirt that's poor quality and doesn't fit well and is a little bit rough. So, make sure that the merch is cool and people will buy it.
For sure. And apart from selling in venue, you could also sell your merch online, and so guests can have an easy way to purchase that when they're on your website, or even as an add-on on the reservation page. You can have a
Yeah.
T-shirt or a hat or whatever it is that guests could add to checkout when booking in the first place.
Yeah, totally. Cool. What else do you want to touch on?
Um, I'll pass it to you. You have anything that comes to mind as far as the topic we're discussing?
Well, we talked a little bit about the packages being specific to audience, and maybe we can just touch on leveraging those social and corporate events a little bit more, because those can be big money makers. So when we look at the different types of packages that you might put up for sale, they sort of fit into two buckets. Sometimes they're smaller events that might be 10 to 20 people and people can book those online. But sometimes they might be bigger events like venue buyouts and things like that. And I would say you want to make sure that even if those things can't be booked online, that you're showing the customers that they can be booked through your venue, and that they're available. So one option might be to put those, things like venue buyouts or larger events on your reservation page as a contact only offering. So people know that they exist, and then they can purchase them from you. Just another way to generate uh, higher sales without raising your prices, but by having more people in those parties.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of ways that you can really improve the reservation page to gear it towards driving higher revenue per guest, and obviously packages is part of that, add-ons is part of that. Adding a secondary activity to the first activity is part of that. And so really being creative and testing different things out will go a
Yeah.
long way.
Don't be shy about putting a $20,000 package online. Maybe it can't be booked online, but somebody sees that it's available. A company might hit you up for it and ask about it and book it. So the name of the game is getting more revenue out of what you have. So don't be shy about putting some packages on there that are higher price points.
That's correct.
And
If you don't offer it, they can't buy it. So
that's right.
test it out. Put different things out there. Try out maybe to book a DJ with the party, right? And now all of a sudden you're having a birthday party and you're getting an extra $2,000 just for a DJ to come in and play for a couple hours, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Don't be shy about trying to go, up market on some of these packages.
And yeah, going back to what we were chatting about before, I think even the way airlines operate now, it's extra to do anything that even is remotely a VIP experience, right? You want to board quicker, hey, you got to pay for that. You want a nice seat, you got to pay for that. You want to not be in the middle, you got to pay extra. You want to check your bag, or you want to take an extra bag on, you got to pay for that. So I think the same rules apply now to venues. If you want to do something that is a little bit of a VIP experience, guests are willing and able to pay for that, and it's their choice as long as you have the base offering to now elevate that experience with added perks that they could add to their checkout.
Yeah, totally. The name of the game being premium. Don't nickel and dime them, but give them those VIP options if they want to pay for them.
So, just to recap, we talked about packages, add-ons, and upsells, membership and loyalty programs, and food and bev. And I think the final point is to have a diverse selection of attractions, right? We've been this has kind of been a theme over the past few weeks that we've been talking about is not just offering one thing, but when you have multiple things that you're offering in your venue, even if a guest maybe doesn't know about that, they're able to find out about that. Maybe next time they'll come back and play that, or maybe even within that same visit, they'll venture off to a different area of the venue in which they weren't going to before. And so having different activities and different experiences throughout the venue and also creating a really fun and engaging atmosphere will get people to want to hang out there a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And by default, the longer you spend in the venue, the more you're gonna spend as well.
Yeah, that's totally correct. So yeah, I think we included a lot of tips on how to increase revenue without raising prices, and maybe just kind of a quick recap on them. Is just having your anchor offering, and you're not raising the prices on that. It's a super uh, sticky point with the topic of inflation that's so important, and you don't want to make it seem like you're always raising your prices. So you kind of have your anchor package at a reasonable price that people can relate with, and then you build around that. You add different packages to different audiences. You build premium offerings and upsells for more VIP services and things like that. You offer memberships, which is an entirely new revenue stream that might come with different perks that incentivize more spending. You improve and make sure that your food and beverage program is on point in order to drive more sales there. And some other ancillary items like merch, you want to make cool merch and then sell that in the venue and online as well. And I think doing those things together is definitely going to result in higher revenue without having to raise your prices.
I love that. Yeah, I think we covered a lot there. So we could just kind of leave it at that, short and sweet. Let's move on to next chapter. Anything fun you have planned for the weekend?
I need to get back to the beach this weekend. So I was in LA and Vegas with you last week. so I haven't hit the beach in a couple of weeks. So that's going to be the plan for this weekend. What about
Awesome.
you?
It's gonna be a chill weekend. I've got the marathon next Sunday, so it's gonna be massages, stretching, getting the body right, and just hanging out. Maybe go to the beach as well and just chill for a bit if the weather
Nice.
gets a little nicer. It's been kind of cold here.
Nice. By the way, did you want to touch on any of the product updates last week?
Yeah, let's do it. That's a good opportunity to chat about that.
Let me. I know we've been busy with a lot of the updates. I think a couple things that we did was we improved coupon codes quite a bit. So in the last couple of weeks, we had added the ability for venues to create one time or limited time use coupon codes. For example, a code that can be used one time or three times. And then we recently added the ability to create minimum spend before a coupon code can be used. So like they have to be spending $50 or $100 before they can apply the code.
Right.
And then we added the ability for codes to be applied to specific customers based on email address. So
Yep.
this is a cool way to create like almost like credits for somebody. Maybe that you want to give them a credit, you can make a code for them. They can use it one time, and only this email address can use it, for example. And then finally, we did the ability to create bulk codes by cloning a code. So let's say you want to do a campaign and create 100 different codes. Instead of doing that manually, you can now automatically do that in the rec system, and then you can export that list of codes for using in another platform, like sending an email with those codes or something like that. So I think those options have made it really easy for people to now run more detailed campaigns
100%. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure. Um, Beyond that, we added some functionality around saved cards and charging saved cards. So customers can now opt in to have their credit card saved, and then hosts can charge those cards later. And whether those be for a reservation that did extended time, or they purchased other things, or it was a no-show, and you want to charge them for that. So definitely helpful for venues to have more control over charging saved cards, and for customers to have control over saving their cards.
Yeah, and it makes the whole process a lot faster.
Yeah, totally. And then super excited again about the upcoming dashboard updates over the next couple months. So we'll be teasing some of those updates.
Yeah, we've been working hard on that.
Yeah, sweet. Anything else, or you want to wrap there?
We can wrap there. Yeah, I'll let you go. I know you want to
All
head to the
right,
beach.
Friday.
All
See
right,
ya.
enjoy. Take
Later.
care. Bye.